Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Good morning.
Good morning.
A couple weeks ago, I was asked why I was a Christian. I was initially overwhelmed because there are many reasons why I'm a Christian, and I found myself trying to attempt to perfectly articulate the most compelling answer. As I think back to my conversation with this friend, I wish I had given a more simple reply. I wish I had remembered this grieving mom in Luke. The gospel reading this week could get lost in the plethora of healing stories and in the uniqueness of Jesus' ministry in Luke's gospel. It could be considered a simple story that is not complicated or complex, just another one of Jesus' many miracles. Yet this pericope that is only found in Luke's gospel provides us with a foundation of why and how we should be Christians. It's not just because Jesus raised the woman's son from the dead or saved her from a life of social and financial ruin, but because Jesus had compassion for her. He not only saw her anguish, but he felt it. I am a Christian because of Christ's compassion is transformative for the life of this woman, for her son, and also for all of us. So Jesus had been traveling from Capernaum, which was about 20 miles, to this town of Nain, where he and his followers eventually stopped. We can assume that they were probably really hungry and tired after such a long journey. But before Jesus even steps through this gate, he witnesses a funeral procession. He sees the widowed mother surrounded by a crowd of people from the town, crying and grieving over the loss of her son. Now, there are many different translations for what happens next. Some scholars have translated the Greek to say that Jesus pitied the woman, but most have translated the text as Jesus feeling compassion for her. Now, Aristotle defined pity as one who has experienced the pain of the sufferer, but distances him or herself from that person's suffering. So pity involves sympathy, but not separation. You feel sad for someone's pain, but you don't engage it. Compassion is completely different. Compassion is whether or not you have experienced the pain of the sufferer, your sympathy calls you to action. And by action, we feel compelled to care and serve for others who are hurting. When we are compassionate, we desire not to be separated from those in pain, but to engage them. For Jesus, his compassion for this woman begins with his recognition that all has been lost for her. Her husband, son, most likely her future. During that time, a woman's social and financial well-being was dependent upon the men in her family, without any men who would provide the food and shelter. This grieving mother was then also at risk of dying. Therefore, this scene that Jesus and his followers come upon is not just one funeral procession, but two, the son and his mother. Although she is not dead, the probability of her living long without her family is small. The crowd that is surrounding her as she leaves the city to bury her son provides a haunting image that they are leading her to maybe her own death. But Jesus knows all of this. He knows what will happen to her in his society. He knows the future of what it would mean to be a widow with no male children. Jesus may not have experienced the same suffering as this woman by being neither a spouse nor a parent, but he is a son. He has a relationship with his own mother, and he sees the love this woman has for her child is the same love that Mary has for him. Jesus doesn't pity her. If he did, he would have just passed by. Jesus has sympathy for this woman because it could be and will be his own mother. standing by his body with tears. So Jesus doesn't waste time for pity, but quickly attempts to comfort her and raise her son from the dead. Luke shows us that Christ's power is not limited to just healing the sick, but resurrection. So what moved me in this gospel was that his miracle wasn't to show his power, but to give it. By giving her son new life, he gave her back her life. His compassion transforms her well-being in this broken world. It's not the miracle itself, but why he performed the miracle in the first place. When has someone shown you sympathy and compassion? My most memorable experience was recent. This past Halloween, I made a big mistake. I went hiking at Gunpowder State Park wearing the wrong shoes. And because I was wearing the wrong shoes hiking, I slipped on a rock, fell in the water, and broke my leg. Not my finest moment. So a week later, while I'm at Virginia Theological Seminary, I ironically find myself in the healing service on Thursday morning. I crutch my way up to the altar to receive a prayer for healing and blessing, and the visiting priest lays his hands on my head and says this beautiful prayer, and then he whispers in my ear, "Wouldn't it be awesome if you could just drop your crutches and walk out of here?" It would be. It would have been. He's laughing and I'm awkwardly smiling because I'm in so much pain. But to be honest, that was my prayer. For a miracle, to be able to walk out of that church, but my stupid decision to wear fashion boots on a short stroll through the woods could hopefully be taken back, and it couldn't. What I didn't get then, that I do get now, is that a miracle did happen. I was healed because of the compassion and kindness of others, my family, and my peers. Prior to my fall, my first couple months at Virginia Theological were super hectic. I was traveling back and forth from Baltimore to Alexandria, and between school and family and church and everything, I found myself not meeting many people. And I had vowed during my fall break that I was going to have more friends. Who would have thought that breaking my leg would have done that? But it was a blessing. I got to experience the amazing compassion and kindness and generosity from my classmates to students that I didn't even know, who asked if they could help me carry my plate to the table, make me coffee, to even rolling my wheelchair across campus. I was not healed by a spontaneous miracle, but I was healed slowly by the genuine care of others, who, by their help, I was able to have a smooth recovery. Therefore, I am a Christian because our God is a compassionate God that does not allow us to believe we are alone in our suffering. Through the love of others, we are not alone. We may not have the power of physical resurrection like Christ, but we do have the power through our ability to engage the suffering of others to bring new life, to be part of the healing of this world. Through our kindness and love, we have the opportunity to be part of the transformation of others, like Jesus. It is a blessing for me to become a part of a community here at Good Shepherd that is already doing this transformational work. The love and compassion you have to serve others is what I look forward to being a part of. When learning about this church, it was wonderful to discover the many ministries and committees and church groups you have here to care for this community and also for Baltimore. It is a gift to me to come to a community that is actively serving others with compassionate hearts to transform and heal the brokenness of this world. I look forward to partnering with Ariane to be involved with the wonderful ministry she and all of you are engaged in. As we do ministry together, may we always start with compassion, not pity, as we do God's work to show Christ's love in the world.